Hi friends, welcome back to my garden. I'm Michelle. It's almost 7 o'clock. It's 80 degrees outside and about 80% humidity here in Florida. It's quite saturated, the air. It's very humid and just yucky. There's no good time to be outside, but we are experiencing a little bit of a reprieve from the hot temperatures. It's like the kiss of fall in the air, just a little hint of what is to come. And of course, I am anticipating that and waiting for it to get here because it's been quite a horrible summer with the heat. But I wanted to do an honest video for you about moving plants in summer and what that looks like. And if you have to do it, don't be afraid to do it. It is not the best time to move plants, but it can be done. So I have a couple of examples to show you that I recently transplanted so that you can see how each type of plant handled that and what's going on. Also, I wanted to share with you an important lesson that I learned as a beginner gardener. When you're planting for your space, don't just consider the size of the plant when you put it into the ground. If it's a young plant, you really need to understand how big that plant will get when it's fully mature. And that is something I didn't do. So the plants had really outgrown their space and there was a lot of crowding going on. So I had to move the plants. I really didn't have a choice. So that sort of forced me into this situation. And regardless of the outcome, I was going to need to move the plant anyway. So come along and let me show you what I did and how these things are faring. So I'm going to start with the best part of the front to date. This area here, I have switched out some plants and I have been able to mulch this area, so it is looking a little better. It's probably the best spot in the whole front bed. But I've got some dahlias here in the back that I started from seed, and I bought some Ruby Chip Junior butterfly bushes, which I'm really enjoying. When I got them, they were looking a little sad, but they have started to fill out quite a bit, and I really love the pink blooms. They're just very sweet. I've never had butterfly bushes before, but I really am enjoying them, and now I just want to fill everything with them. But anyway, I have some roses here, little miniature roses, and some hostas in between, and then a huge hibiscus over here. And pardon my garage, forgot to shut the door. I need to clean my fountain, so it is actually off at the moment. But I have some hollyhocks growing in here from seed, and I've never grown those before, so that's quite exciting. But here is one of the plants that I want to move, this hibiscus here. So if I step back and I look at the bed overall, right? So it's a little bit of a hot mess, but I do like the structure here. It is a little tall, but I feel like it's an anchor piece for the end of the bed there. But this hibiscus here is just kind of too big, and it's blocking the things that are going on behind it. So when I planted it, it was probably up to the size of that little gnome's hat, and as you can see, in a couple years it's put on quite a bit of growth. So I want to take that out. And over here, well, actually first let me show you what I've got going on behind the hibiscus. Here you can see my crazy weeds that I need to pull out, but I had cut back my salvia here and they are flushing back quite nicely. So I need to get in and get these weeds under control and get the mulch down. But behind my hibiscus that you can't even see, I have a hydrangea there, and I have a knockout rose. And it's my goal to take this out, and I think I want to move this hydrangea back behind me into the shade because it's receiving a little bit too much sun, I think. They do like sun, but in Florida, because we're so hot, they need more of a break in the afternoon, and I don't really know that it gets enough here. And you can't even see my rose, so I may move that as well. So there's just a little, this section really needs to change. Here is the after of my space, looking quite a bit different. I was able to get more mulch and take care of the weeds. I still have a little bit to go over here, but things are looking a little better. But this is the area that the hibiscus was in, and as you can see, it left quite a big hole there. But I took the rose from over in this area and moved it so that it had more room to grow. Now the rose has done fine and has actually pushed some new growth. I don't know if you can see. I will try to get in here and focus. So you see this little shoot here and some red down here. All this is new growth. And over here too. And actually just about every branch has new points of growth, and it's already flushing back out. But I cut all of the foliage back because when I transplanted it, it immediately went into shock. So now it had time to develop some root growth, and now it's pushing out some new growth from the branches. And I think this guy is going to be just fine and hopefully have more room to develop and be pretty here in this spot. So let me show you how the hibiscus did. As you can see, a little bit of a different story going on here. So the first mistake I made was trying to move this guy at its full size. I should have cut him back before I dug him up because I was not able to get a very good root ball, and I think that sort of shocked the plant even more. So once I moved it over here, everything went into shock and I had to cut everything back. I was hoping it would flush some growth, but it has not done that. And what I'm hoping is that the plant is sending its energy into developing new root system underneath what I can see here on the surface. It had quite a lot of roots actually, and they actually spread out quite far in the bed. They weren't necessarily deep, but well, some were, but others went out pretty wide. And the plant had only been in its space a couple of years. But if I do a little scratch test, and I will try to get in here so you can see. If I do a scratch test, I can see that there is green. Sorry, I'm trying to focus, but I don't know that I can. There is green underneath the bark still. There, I don't know if you can see that or not. But there is green there, so the plant is still alive even though it looks quite dead. So I'm hoping that if it doesn't push some new growth before winter hits, which for us, our heavy winter is in January and February. In December we still have quite a bit of growth here in zone 9A, but I'm hoping that even if it doesn't push out new growth, by spring it will just come back and look really nice for this space. So there are a few things that I would do differently. One, I would try not to move plants in the summer if at all possible. And two, I still have another hibiscus that I do want to move, and I'm going to actually cut that back before I move it so that I can not have to struggle and fight with the plant so much to dig it up, so that I can get a better root ball, and hopefully the transplant will go a little bit better. But all of these items I think will take to their new locations, and sometimes you just have to move stuff when you have to move it. And just remember to give your plant some time to bounce back. They are tougher than we give them credit for a lot of times, and they will bounce back for you. So just be patient and let them settle in and really get established once again. But thank you so much for coming and watching this little video. I really appreciate you joining me in my garden adventures and developing of my space. So God bless you all, and I will catch you in the next one.